Welcome back. Happy Tuesday.
Another week, another Tuesday.
Another Tuesday in it.
I started saying it. I hated it immediately. So
I'm obsessed. I thought you were going to say another week, another pod. I'm like,
no,
true.
I don't know.
Another week, another Tuesday.
Factual.
That's correct.
We have an educated queen on the pod today.
Speaking of educated queens,
I am done with class.
A graduated girl.
I'm done with class.
Oh my gosh. I feel like you just start us off with our updates because that is the biggest update of the week.
Yes. Everybody has been with me through the trenches, my tears, and we made it. Thursday was my last grad school class ever. So I never, ever have to take class on a Tuesday or Thursday again. I have my nights back. I have my weeknights back. We did our final presentation and I'm done with classes for the semester. And I just have my capstone this summer, but I'm doing this podcast, so it should be good. So I'll be done with grad school at the end of July. But I walk this Thursday in commencement, and then we're doing a little celebration at my parents' this week too. So it's feeling like the worst is over, and all my final papers and projects are behind me. I cried after my last class because I was a wave of relief. I've never, oh my gosh, it's fantastic.
The best, most relieving feeling. And you really do. You have had 2 years of your weeks just being taken up with school.
Yes.
So
it's just
you're
crazy.
free.
I felt bad because you texted in our group chat, I'm done. You were so excited. And both of us were I was at Bible study. Erin had her
totally fine.
thing.
Yeah.
And I checked it and Andrea was sitting next to me and she's like, is Josie okay? And I was like, no. But no, yes, now.
Actually was okay in the most, in the best way. But literally,
yeah.
But no, it's probably better. I really just took some time to decompress. I started cleaning my house. Why? I don't know. But I just, a new fresh start. So that was obviously the highlight of the week and just amazing news for me, honestly, and everybody around me because I'm a better me when I'm not in grad school.
Entering a better version of yourself again.
Yes, exactly. And then also this week, going off of last week, the Timberwolves did win. Probably because we talked about it and said it. So you're so welcome.
The fact that they beat the Lakers in 5 is freaking insane.
That was insane. I fully was it's going to go to 7. It's going to keep going. I couldn't believe that they did it.
That's what people thought. They underestimate us,
And was it a close game? It was a pretty close last game, right? The 5th?
The second to last one, the fourth one was pretty...
Maybe
pretty
that's
intense.
the one I'm thinking.
On Sunday. Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
I watched one of them. Yeah.
That was probably it. The one on Wednesday was close, but it wasn't as intense as the Sunday one. But so that was super fun this week. But yeah, it was mostly just ending school and went on a long walk this morning. The sun is out. I'm podcasting with my best friends.
You're in your element.
Life doesn't get better, I'm feeling feelings again. I'm just
having emotions again. Thank the Lord.
Coming back to life slowly but surely. But yes,
totally.
That was my week.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we can't wait to celebrate next week. It's going to be, and Coco might be in town, you guys. So I
am in town. Yeah.
Well, you are in town, but you might be able to make the grad party too. Which
I am making the grad party.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. It's official.
What a night. Last night we were telling our friends and Coco might be there. So that's really fun. That's just a nice little added surprise next week.
Thing.
So
I'm super excited.
Good.
Oh my
Any
gosh.
other updates from your week, Joes, or things that you...
Nope.
Slay. This week I was a freak athlete and I got MVP at my kickball game.
Josie's about to spit out her coffee. Okay, freak.
They called me sticky hands at kickball because I literally was so, guys, I was electric. I wish ask my kickball team. So we play on Wednesdays, co-ed, kickball, and I would play second base. I did this really cool move where I had one hand up to stop the ball. I caught it one hand. Like
No
the
way.
freaking kickball.
Oh my
and then I brought it
gosh.
down, and everybody on my team was like freaking out. Everybody on the other team was like, "Oh my god, good catch, whatever." And just to tell you, like, how good of a catch it was, like we come in and like we get the out, whatever, and everybody's like patting me on the back. One of like the most stoic guys on my team was like, "Not gonna lie, like this is electric." Like,
That's when you know. You're like, even he is saying this.
yeah. And like we like you get MVPs of the game, like girl and guy, and everybody was like sticky hands, and I was like,
Stop.
But like, please say more. Please.
no,
say
yeah.
more.
And then like
Athlete.
the ref, like we've had him for multiple years. Like he's like, he was giving me crap and he was like, "Okay, you got man hands?" And I was like, "Yeah, show me your baby hands." And I'm like, "Let's compare." And he's like, oh man. Like,
I need to stop drinking my coffee. I say it. I drink it every single time you say something funny. I'm like struggling.
And then like that was my high, and then my low was I had 4 cavities to get filled up.
I can't believe that. And did you have any idea? Like, have your teeth been hurting?
It was a cavity specific appointment. Like I had to go in. Like I had my dental cleaning like a month ago, and then they were like, "All right, you have like." I thought I only had 3, and then they were like, "We're gonna add," and I was like, "It hurts." Period.
Does it hurt when you're like laughing and talking right now?
Not right now. I took like 5 Advil this morning, so we're good. But yesterday,
But if she
like,
overdoses, like that's why.
Yeah, yesterday, like, so it happened yesterday. I was there for 2.5 hours. Like, but granted, I wasn't like open mouth the entire time, but like all 4 were on my left side.
Oh,
So
tough.
I'm like, am I chewing over there? I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, did they say why? Like, how?
I do good dental hygiene. Like I brush my teeth twice a day. I floss regularly. Like I'm a tooth girl, right? Like I told you guys.
That's right.
I know. Wait, do you have an electric toothbrush by
do.
any chance? Oh my gosh,
wow.
I have
So
no
she's
other
doing
suggestions.
Everything right. Yeah.
So I don't floss.
do you
like
floss? Oh, okay.
I floss like a couple times a week, right? Like
That's
whatever.
seriously
Pretty good.
better than
Yeah.
me
Right.
and the average.
Same.
And even then, that's even exaggeration. Maybe it's once a week, right? But and I
Putting
like
on a face for the podcast.
yeah, I have like I use Act, like I use specific toothpaste. I use like whatever. My dentist growing up always said I had just very deep like teeth holes. I don't know. I got deep.
Okay.
I got deep cavities in my mouth in order to make cavities happen. I don't know. So it just like is prone
So
to
it's
having
just
more.
your teeth's fault. Like,
Yeah.
it's just their fault.
It just is what it is. So it's like I can do everything that I can, but so
That still sucks so much.
yeah, I like came back to work and Charlie was like, "What's wrong with you?" And I was like, I couldn't move my mouth bigger because like if I like right like to here is where it hurts.
We were like FaceTiming last night, and all 3 of us, and me and Josie are like cracking up, and Coco's just like at one point you're just like not emoting, and you're like, I was like, Coco's not feeling this, and you were like, no, I just can't emote.
I was like, I'm
You're like,
feeling it. I
can't.
just can't show it. Cause like, and yeah, like I'm the type of person where it's like, you know how I'm feeling by my face, but like yesterday I could not. But anyway, that's my week. Erin, what's up with you?
Not too much this week. I had a pretty uneventful week. I started my week up in Duluth, which was fun. It was for a counseling conference. It ended
She
not so
braved
fun.
the storm.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah. So if you live in the Midwest, you probably heard about the like massive tornadoes that was gonna like hit like literally Iowa, Minnesota, Wisconsin. Like it was this whole thing. They hyped it up all week. And so
Fake
I
news.
was up in Duluth at a mental health, like youth mental health conference, which was really cool. The conference itself, like I learned so much. Sometimes I go to these conferences and I feel like you're just like, okay, like I learned this in grad school or like whatever, but I like couldn't write down enough notes. Like it was, so that was actually really fun. And like hanging out with all the other counselors there was also really fun. So, but then Monday hits and it's my day to drive home. And this is like the day of the storm. And so there's like people at my table for lunch and they're like, oh my gosh, like it's going to hit at like 3 p.m. And I'm like supposed to leave this conference at like 3:30. So I was like, okay. And I'm like, I'm supposed to go home tonight. And we will do a whole podcast episode on our like travel stories, but like we have been in some awful weather. And so I like called Josie. immediately like on my way home that night and was like, I did not realize how much PTSD I have from like one really bad storm we got stuck in, because like I went into full panic mode. I was like, I have to go. And everyone's like, it's going to be fine. Like people were either like, it's going to be fine, or people were like, no, like my weather friend says it's going to be like the biggest tornado in history. It's going to knock down everything. Like I was like, my dogs are at home. Like I have to go. So.
And what did it do? Absolutely nothing.
Literally, I rushed home, left the conference early because I was so anxious. And I'm not like, it's funny, 'cause we're going to talk about anxiety today, actually. But I am not like a super, super anxious person. So I was like, this is unlike me to like flee an event because I'm anxious. So, but I couldn't run out of there. I sprinted back to my hotel. I like zoomed home. I was going like 90. I was like, just trying to get home. And then like got back to my house,
Clear
and
skies.
there was not one. Yeah, it was like sunny. I was like,
I was
are you
so
serious?
mad. Like, obviously, I'm so happy that there was not a devastating tornado that took lives and homes. Like, of course, let me preface that. But I was so ready for like, I had a night in the rain.
I had my book ready.
Gonna read.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, can't wait for a cozy night. It's sunny. I was like, this is not not my expectations.
Well, it
for
got
the night.
all dark though too. So I don't know how it was in Milwaukee, Cokes, but it was like so dark here. So I was like, okay, like hunkered in. And Ty was in Oregon, so I'm alone. And I'm like, my mom's like, get your flashlights, like have candles. So I'm like, I have like my candles and flashlights like ready to grab. And then like seriously, half an hour later, it's like the sun is out. Kids are biking through the neighborhood. I'm like, perfect.
We actually got bamboozled so
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah. So that was just funny. Like that was funny. So that, and then I think the only other highlight of my week is that since we're new to our neighborhood and our neighborhood is a new built, so like lots of people, it's just a new neighborhood. Nobody knows each other. We hosted like a grill out. We just said like, we're grilling, bring your own beverage. And then it was so sweet. Like people were messaging me just being like, can we bring anything? So someone brought like fruit, someone brought chips. And then I think someone was going to bring a sweet treat, but they ended up not coming because then it did rain a lot on Thursday. Like, of course, it's been so nice all week. And then the one night we were hosting this, like it stormed, but we still had a pretty good turnout. I think like there was probably 30 of us at one point.
Oh,
so,
nice.
Yeah, it was, or like maybe 20, but
Cool.
It was really good. We met like a lot of our immediate neighbors and just like everyone was just so fun and nice. And there's definitely a lot of people that we could see ourselves like being friends with. Yeah. So that was really sweet because it's hard. It's just like we moved up, like we're like an hour from home. So it's not that far, but we don't really know a lot
It's
of
far
people.
enough that
Yeah, we don't really have friends up where we live. So looking to just like, I feel like I've talked about that before, but so I'm excited about it because I got somebody's number, like stuff like that, where it's like, okay, we should hang. So
Cute.
yeah, that was really fun. I'm trying to think of other like things. I think that was kind of it. So yeah, pretty chill. I've been having a couple chill weeks now. So
love.
God bless. God bless.
Seriously.
All three of us booked a trip to Florida.
Yes.
With Erin's family.
Yes.
So we'll be going there in 2 weeks. So that was really fun this week too.
Yeah. Just like planning a little bit and getting it like fully booked. So
Yep.
yeah.
I'm so
And it's like a
excited.
spur of the moment trip. So
Yeah.
I feel like, was it just last week we're talking about like spontaneous, like,
Yeah.
I don't know. So I just think the trip's going to be so fun because it kind of
I'm
just
so
like
excited.
came out of nowhere and we're going. So yeah.
Can't wait.
And we're going to be recording in Florida. So get ready for
Yes.
We're some island girls, even though it's not an island.
It is.
The one we're on is an island. Yeah. Or like a key or something like that. Yeah.
What's a key?
So island girls. You don't know the Keys? The Florida Keys?
No, what's the difference between well, I do know the Florida Keys.
I think they are technically islands, but they're also all connected. So I don't think it's like
I
don't
think it's
know.
more of a.
Should I look it up?
Yes, I was just gonna say. Should we
difference
Google this?
between key.
Well, like keys versus island, right? Well, and it's kind of a peninsula, really.
Yes, the Florida Keys are a chain of islands located off the southern coast of Florida,
Okay.
stretching from Key Largo to Key West.
Oh,
They're
yeah,
So
connected.
it's because they're
connected by
chain.
overseas highways, which includes I think the Keys might just be the reason they're all called Key. So that's
This
why they're called the
says-
Keys. That's it. There's no
This-
it's not like a land structure.
No, I
That
think
is a
it might
key.
be. No, this says keys and islands are related terms, but keys are a specific type of island.
Oh, okay.
It says, while all islands are pieces of land surrounded by water, keys also are small, low-lying, often coral islands frequently found in coral reef environments. The term key is used Okay, that really doesn't matter. The rest of that.
I think
yeah.
I think also too, if you think about it, none of them have mountains on them. Like if you think of Hawaii, like they're mountainous because of like the lava coming up and whatever.
yeah.
Whereas like I've been to Key
Keys are
West with
just-
my family. I think they're just like, I have no idea.
That
That's
actually
a
makes
question
so
for
much
God.
It's true.
Add it to your list.
Literally the list I have. God, why doesn't Harry Styles love me? And what are keys?
The key thing makes so much
100%.
sense because my mom really wants to go like shelling.
Oh, they're so
I'm like
good.
the fact that it's like surrounded by maybe like coral reefs would make
Totally.
a lot of sense now
Totally.
to me.
But we're not going to the Keys.
Yeah, we
No,
are.
but I think that beach we're going to is a key,
Oh,
right?
okay.
Is that
I'm
what we
obvi-
just were?
Yeah. I have
I don't
no
know.
idea.
I just paid. I just paid people and I'm going.
Either way, yeah, I was like, either way, we're going to Florida and we're gonna have the best time. So
I don't know
An
where I'm
island,
going.
a key. We're about to. Yeah.
We're key girls.
not us getting into the specifics of like geography today. I love
Yeah,
that.
we're
for us.
geologists
you
or
learn
geographers
something new
or
every
whatever.
day.
Yeah, I do have my master's now, so
Yeah, guys,
It's
if
only
you're ever-
right.
Unless we needed actual confirmation, we have the paper confirmation that I'm the dumbest on the pod. I'm the least educated, and it shows. That's all right. I'm here for the
my
flavor.
gosh.
Who cares?
You are cracking me up today
Oh, thanks.
all the time. But
she's dumb, but she's funny. No. Just kidding.
should we dive into the topic?
Yes,
yeah,
let's do
talk
it.
about anxiety.
Anxiety.
It's my
Some
anxiety.
anxiety.
Guys, we're not making
Somebody's watching me.
my anxiety. Yeah, girls, do all of us have anxiety or no?
I think so, but like,
Totally.
And people
So-
don't freak out. Okay, like relax. Like if we're self-diagnosing,
yeah, I'm not trying to be.
Well, and I was just gonna say we're not medical professionals. We're not like actually diagnosing
yeah,
ourselves.
Yeah.
Well, we maybe are diagnosing ourselves, but don't use what we say today to diagnose yourself. You should really like
or
go
other
to a
people,
professional
or like whatever.
yeah, and like go get it checked out by a
yeah,
professional,
like
or
it's
like
on
your
my
therapist
list
or whatever
to do that. You
Also,
know, but
I feel like we're not coming in with like literature. We're just going to be like, this is our experiences with anxiety. So
right. And
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, I know there's a difference of like feeling anxious and like diagnose anxiety, not trying to like minimize anybody's experience
and
or
such
anything.
different levels of anxiety,
Yes.
like
So-
and types of anxiety. Like I will say, like in this realm, I am a licensed professional, but school counselors cannot diagnose. So like I don't diagnose, but
you
I'm
experience it. You have day-to-day
yeah, I
experiences
was like
with
trained on
students
anxiety through
and
school
like,
or through my grad
yeah,
school.
you're the
so-
most educated on that level.
So I'm like, we have a little bit of
For sure.
credibility here, but
Yes.
like,
But
don't
don't take
take
this
our
as-
word for it. Go to your therapist. Go to your doctor if you like,
yeah.
do have anxiety.
So that's
but-
our disclaimer.
yeah, disclaimer
Disclaimer.
before
Yeah.
we start. But
Yes.
yeah, what I mean, yes, like we said, I think we all like have some level of anxiety, but I also think nowadays, who doesn't?
Oh,
Yeah.
Like, I think we all have it a little bit. And I
Yes.
think,
well, we
Yeah.
were talking a little bit just before we started recording about social media. So I don't know if we want to start there,
Yeah.
but I'm like, I really think that is, especially for like Erin with your job, like for the kids and just like your students and stuff. Like, I think growing up in this age of social media, like we grew up with social media, but I just don't think it was at this level. But I do think that we are one of like the first generations to like have like really grown up with it though too.
Yeah.
And so I think like that also is something like for us. And I don't know if you guys feel like this too, but like when I'm on my phone a lot, like I feel more anxious.
I think I feel like my phone is a calming thing. Like in my brain, it's like, oh, I just want to lay on the couch and I just want to scroll TikTok or whatever. But it's like not a calming thing. And
Right.
I talk to a lot of like middle school kids like almost every day about that too. Like they'll all be like, oh, like I'll be like, what do you do when you're anxious? And they're like, oh, I go on TikTok. And I'm like, yeah, we all think that it's like this calm thing because you're laying down and you're just like mindlessly. But after like a little bit of doing it, I notice that I'm like worked up, like,
Yep.
or just my mind is spiraling. Aside from socials, like
Yeah.
how do you guys feel like anxiety shows up in your life? Like what does that look like?
Well, I take medications.
She's a medicated girly.
I'm medicated. I'm going to therapy.
How's your experience been like on medication? For
It's been good.
People who have never tried that.
So basically my anxiety like really kind of became itself like in senior year of college, and it was right about when we were about to graduate, and I was like just anxious about like this change, and it really just felt like graduating college just felt like you were running towards the edge of the cliff, and then you really don't know what's on the other side. And I just remember I was doing the best that I could with a lot of stuff, but basically it just would take, like, mine is very social based, and like the things that would plague me would be like, I would say something, and I'm pretty, like, you guys know, like I'll say funny stuff and I'll be goofy and whatever. And like, like it's all lighthearted and stuff. And I love to joke around, but then afterwards I would be like, oh my God, I can't believe I said that. They probably hate me. I probably offended them, XYZ, like all this stuff. Like I could really dish it, but I couldn't take it. But then I also couldn't deal with like, okay, they must really hate me because I said that joke. And like the aftermath was a
You're
battle.
like stuck in your head about like, oh
forever,
my gosh, like should I have said this?
Forever. And the thing
And
that
probably no one's thinking about it. Like probably no one.
And my friend Mary was like so good about it, because we were living together senior year, and we had like a jar. Have you guys watched New Girl?
Yeah.
So they have
a little bit.
They have like the douchebag jar for Schmidt.
Yeah,
everybody in our apartment had a thing that they had, like if they did it, they had to put money in the jar. Like we'd joke around. Mine was saying sorry by just saying it, because like our friend group growing up, like you just said sorry to get by. Like you said sorry to get over the situation, and eventually like sorry loses its meaning.
And you didn't want to make anybody mad. So And
so the thing is, I don't think that group or those friends made me have anxiety. I think I have it. Both my parents are medicated. I'm medicated in the same stuff as them.
Yeah. Yeah. Like nobody causes it, but it is just like,
that was my knee-jerk reaction.
Like,
And so then Mary was like, hey, let people come to you and let them tell you that they're upset.
Yeah. As you're talking, like I actually was just like thinking, and just want to affirm you that like you've done so well to overcome that. And like, you don't really do that anymore. Like even when like maybe a couple of years ago, like when you guys first met, I feel like sometimes you would like text me, or you would text Josie after a hangout, and you would be like, sorry if I said this tonight, girls, and this like offended you guys. And you don't really do that anymore. And like nothing you say like offends us, or we just tell you if it does.
You
but
can
like,
do no wrong in my eyes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really?
You're perfect.
Well, that being said. No, but like, yeah.
But you've really overcome it.
Thank you.
So
I appreciate it. And
or you've worked really hard on it.
No, and I think also too, like Mary just made a really good point of like if you say sorry, you're just assuming someone's upset. You're giving them the emotion. Whereas like a lot of times my senior year, they weren't thinking like that, and it was very anxious. And so it got to a point when I finally got medicated. Long story long, I was was dealing with stuff here, and it was multiple years of this social situation. It was affecting my sleep. Like I couldn't sleep. I was waking up anxious. It just was like every situation that was like revolving around it, I would spiral and all that type of stuff. And like the noise was just too loud. And so my doctor, I was talking to her about it, and I was like, I just got to figure this out. And she just was like, you know what, let's just start on a low dose. And she's like, you're a high operating person and you're always going to be, but like, this is really too high. And so like, let's just bring it down a little bit. Let's just turn down the volume, and you're still going to operate. And I still have moments where I'm anxious and I react, and I'm a high operating person. But for me, it's definitely dulled that like I don't have those nights where I don't sleep because of it. I don't spiral. Granted, situations have changed too, and I've also been closer with God. Like that is the ultimate like anxiety killer.
Yeah.
But also too, like God also created people that have made these medicines to help us like in our day-to-day life. So it's like that has helped me just to turn down the volume of the frequency of which I'm like, it was like I was picking up any sort of emotion that anybody would have. Yeah. And I would freak out about it.
And I think like through you, like you said, you've done therapy. I think through that and like learning different coping skills, also just like growing into yourself in adulthood and becoming more confident, and like that stuff will drown it out too. Like I'm sure it's a combination of like growth and medication working together.
Yes, totally.
Did you could tell like a really big difference when you went on the meds?
Yeah, it just quieted it a little bit. It was nice. Like my first month was like, you're just tired because you're getting it used to your system.
Yeah.
And now I'm just kind of like, I am who, like, I'm at where I'm at. I still have moments where I overthink. Like, let's be, it's not, I was like, I don't want it to like completely devoid me of my personality. I don't want to lose who I am. I don't want to like be subdued and going through life comatose. Didn't happen. Like, surely not. Probably could be upped. But no, like, it's a manageable level now. Like, I was like,
that makes sense.
But I also like, yes, the medication, but I cannot stress enough, like, the spot that I'm at now is because I'm close to God too. Like, it's a two-pronged thing, but like, that's I definitely noticed.
Medication just isn't like the answer either fully. Cause I see that a lot, at least at work, like, and kids, like, they're still learning, or even sometimes like parents, like, we have this conversation because the kids get medicated, and then kids will come to me like, Ms. Weir, like, I took my meds today and I'm still anxious. And I'm like, yeah, it doesn't just turn it off. Like, you have to like utilize that medication and then also your coping skills together, or like your faith, or whatever factors you're like, your coping skills need to be at play. Like, you still have to like work through it. It's not just like, oh, I take a pill and it just like
goes away,
flips a light switch and we're good. Like, so that's always something to preface too, is like, if you're ever taking meds or you decide to go on meds and you're like, I still have anxiety. It's like, it's like a Band-Aid kind of, you need to like do some other things to combat it as well.
It helps you to quiet the thing in order for you to operate. Like, I think when my anxiety was bad and I was unmedicated, like, it was like I couldn't even do the coping skills because it was so like high frequency, like everything. And then like that, now that I have it, I'm like, I have a beat to be like, okay, work on the things that I know how to do. Like, the number one thing for me, I would say, so if you're a Christian or if you're not, I don't know, this book, Your Battles Belong to the Lord, is by Joyce Meyer. It's like helps put it into perspective of like, there's a spiritual war going on and our minds and our hearts are like the battleground. Like, that is where it is. Also, I learned this through therapy, is like, you have to like the core beliefs and the core lies. And so like, basically, like, it's just all the idea of like building up a case against whatever is going on in your head, because like, surely nobody thinks about it the way that you do. So if I'm thinking in my head, like, oh, I said something, I'm too much for people. Like, you literally have to come up in your head. I look at it like a lawsuit. Like, I'm going to defend myself because this is just a lie, whether it's your own head, you want to say that, or if it's Satan or whatever you want to say. We are constantly telling ourselves lies, like all the time.
And you have to like work hard to come up with the truth too. Like, and it takes time, because I think it's like for every negative thought you say, it's like 10 positive thoughts to like combat one negative. So like, it's hard to just like rewire your brain to like go the opposite way. So it is really like truly stating to yourself, like, it's not just like, it's literally like being like, okay, stop. Like, if I'm telling myself like I'm too much for people, then it's like, okay, stop. And then you have to be like, no, like, I have friends that love me. Whatever. Like,
here's an instance where I haven't been too much. Here's evidentiary. Like, I literally use it as like evidence.
Yes.
I keep it very legalistic.
Yes. And like, sometimes you might have to like write it out. Like, it's not just like this thing where you're just like, oh, stop, I don't want to have that thought. You have to like actually, so it's not easy. It's not easy to just like swap your thoughts like that either. It's super hard. It takes so much work. So
my first therapist was in 2020. So I've been doing on and off therapy for 5 years. And like, I think it's a health, like, I just went in, actually this week was my first therapy appointment since November. So it's like, it's very sporadic in between, but I cannot recommend enough, if you have the means and you have the ability to do it, finding a third party person that has no claim or stake in your life is so helpful when you're trying to look at things. Like, I love talking to you guys about anything. And whatever, but you guys, like you just said, I can do no wrong in your eyes. Like,
we like to your defense anytime. Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're good at holding mirrors to each other. And I think that's another thing. It's like, you need to have friends that are honest with you.
Agree.
But at the end of the day, like, your ultimate goal is when I'm telling you guys things, and same for me with you, we want what's best for each other. And like, sometimes you can get clouded, especially if I'm talk to my mom. Oh my God, I could literally kill someone. And she'd be like, well, they probably deserved it. You know what I mean? So
totally. Yeah.
What do you guys think? How do you feel?
No, I love that.
Like, as obviously I'm on the extreme side of like being medicated, going to therapy. Like, I don't know. What do you guys see? How do you feel?
I feel like I don't like, I think that for me, it's been this thing of like, in the past like couple of years, like, I think I'm like, this might be something, like might be like more anxious or like having more instances of being and feeling anxious than like normal. But it's like, I've never really like talked to a doctor about it or done anything like that. Cause it hasn't like impeded anything really, except like, or it's not like constant enough, but it's always something that I'm like, have thought about, or Erin will be like, you should go to therapy. And I'm like, yeah. Or like just people say that, you know? But I don't know. So I think like, that's a funny question. I'm sitting here. Like in the book episode a couple weeks ago, I was joking about how the character by like Abby Jimenez, like it was like his inside thoughts. And he was like, I have anxiety. And I was like, what? Those thoughts are normal. Like that's what I have, you know? So there's instances like that where I'm like, I might be a little bit more anxious than the normal person.
We joke that like, and we should, well, not a joke. We joke about it because we like know it's true of us. And we're like, we really should go get like checked out. Yeah. But we say we have like high functioning anxiety because like it's not impeding on our like day to day. Yeah. But like when Erin called me like panicked, she was like, I'm shaking about the storm. I'm like, LOL, high functioning anxiety. Like rears its ugly head once again. Yeah. But I don't know. Like, I think that's where I like honestly struggle of like, I don't know what's like where it gets to a point of like, if I should like go ask about that or not, or like what is like what, because like you said, Coco, normal, like even just like
subjective. Yeah.
Normal's
that's so
super
true.
subjective.
What were you saying? Sorry,
but
sorry, I cut you off though.
No. It's just like how you were saying, like even just like being on meds, it's not like you still have your like moments and stuff like that. So I'm like, I don't know if my like, I guess I think
it's usually like the way that I've looked at anxiety is like, it's normal to have anxiety. So like a normal rate of anxiety would be like, I have your grad school presentation tomorrow.
Right.
And I'm anxious about like presenting. Like asking yourself like,
or anxious, like while it's fight or flight, you need to have it for survival instincts. Yes. Like you need to have a level of anxiety in your life.
So asking yourself like, is this a normal thing to be anxious about? Like, would somebody say like, yeah, that's really normal to be a little nervous about? And then it's like, does that go away after? So like, okay, you have like a healthy amount of anxiety about your presentation because you want it to go well. After you present, does it persist? Or is it like, like I took it or I did my presentation, it went well, I'm all good. And then it goes away. Or like, okay, I'm overthinking a little bit about like this thing, but like then it goes away. Mm-hmm. Or is it like a persistent thing that's like kind of this dull thing in the back of your mind all the time? Like that maybe it's like, if it's persistent, then I think it starts to be like, can be problematic. And it's like, do you have the coping skills to overcome it? Like if you're like, I put down my book and I put down my phone, read my book and like went for a walk and now I feel better. Like, okay, maybe you don't need to be like medicated because you have coping skills that are like helping you to manage that anxiety.
Yeah.
I was just Googling to like high functioning anxiety symptoms because it's like excessive worrying, overthinking, muscle tension, sleep disturbances. And I feel like Josie and I have both talked about like sleep.
Sleep is huge.
Josie and I both have kind of sometimes sleep problems. And then even though I can fall asleep really easily, I like wake up a lot in the night though. Yeah. And then overthinking is like, we're both big overthinkers. And then muscle tension, Josie, we both have talked about like our jaws will get like,
I literally
what's
have
it called?
TMJ.
Yes.
I have it in my left jaw.
You've been like diagnosed with that.
Yeah.
I haven't, but I sometimes get jaw tension or whatever. Like it hurts. And I'm like, I'm totally clenching my jaw because I'm like stressed and anxious. So
you have to also take into account like high anxiety. I think that also comes with high excelling, like people wanting to perform well. And I think like, I don't like what comes with the good comes with the bad. Sometimes you need that anxiety in order to kick you in the butt in order to do X, Y, Z. Yep. So
but it's like, is it disturbing your like daily functioning?
Yeah.
That's like, where
and I
it can
think
be.
too, like, that's where I'm going to say like medication for me didn't come until like about a year and a half ago. Yeah. So I've been doing therapy since 2020. So there's so much stuff that we block out in our heads because we don't want to think about it or it's uncomfortable or X, Y, Z. And so I'm also like, I just am a proponent of therapy. Talk therapy is such a great tool at our disposal. People like Erin and other people that have gone through the grad school have learned how to do it. And it's like use those people's skills. Like that's their God-given talent.
Yep.
And they really do teach a lot. Like, so I think like for me, I'm somewhere in between both of you. Like,
Yeah.
I think I might be more anxious than you, but I think I'm a little less anxious than Coco, or maybe mine just like appears differently or shows up in my life differently than yours, Coco. But like, I've gone to therapy for it as well, but mine is more like we both have like the social aspect, but like whereas you overthink things that where you're like, okay, I overthink something that I said or did. I'm more like worrying about like before a big social, like the other night before our barbecue grill out thing, I was like, oh my gosh, like, what am I going to talk about with these people? Like, is there anything, what if I don't find anything in common? What if they don't show up? What if they think we're crazy for hosting this, even though it's raining? Like, I just spiral about like that. Or if I'm meeting somebody new, I'm like, I really want to make a good impression. Like, what if they don't like me? So more like I'll get nervous. And then I get to a social thing. I think one of our friends, I've talked to her about how I feel this way about things. Like I'll be like, I get so anxious going into like a social setting. And then she's like, I would never know. Like you do so well when you're there. But I'm like, no, like before it, there's times where I'm like, I don't want to go. Like I'm a little nervous about like meeting someone new, or again, just like what conversation am I going to have? And then I get there and it's totally fine. So mine shows up in that way. And then I also overthink like dumb situations. Like when we went on our road trip, like I actually at the beginning of when I started therapy in like 2022 maybe, or 2023, a couple years ago, probably 2022. And it was like a year after marriage, I think. And she, like, I was worrying about like, oh my gosh, we're going to be in the middle of nowhere on a road trip. We're going to get a flat tire and we are going to die. Like we're going to run out of food. No one will find us. We won't have service and we are like going to die. Like not just like, oh, like, yeah, it's a possibility. And we actually like did on that trip get a flat tire.
Literally.
But she helped me with like an exercise where she and Coco and I use this on each other a lot. Like when we talk, but it's like, what's realistic?
Best case scenario, what's worst case scenario, and what's realistic.
And so like walking through that, like, my therapist was like, okay, what's worst case scenario? And I was like, we literally get stranded and like no one finds us and we die. And then like, it's like best case scenario is that like we get no flat tire, we make it there safely. And like we're realistic is like, yeah, there's a chance we get a flat tire. We will get it fixed and we'll be on our way. Like nothing crazy. But I do that a lot about specific situations. And like this year of my life, like I haven't decided how much I want to go into my mom's diagnosis on the pod yet, but in November, my mom being diagnosed with cancer, like I feel like this year has been a really big test of anxiety for me because it's very easy to walk down every what if, every morbid thought you can have. And it's like, that is anxiety as well. Like, and it's more normal because if you're faced with a diagnosis like cancer, especially in the stage that my mom has it, it's like natural to be like, what if, and be worrying. But this year has like tested me. So I'll like with situations that occur in my life like that, I'll go down like every negative path possible, like to the point of like kind of insanity of like very worst case scenario. And I'm not like an inherently negative person, I would say.
No.
But there are like just random situations like that where like I'll take it to like the extreme of like, again, the flat tire, like, oh my God, like we're going to die in our,
and
we're
some
gonna die
like
on our road
people
trip.
are going to come up and chop us up and eat us. And
yes. Or like a grizzly bear is going to get us on our hike, which normal to be
100%
nervous about
normal.
grizzly bears.
The fight or flight, you need to have that.
But I take it to like an extreme sometimes. And so it's like, that is anxiety, but I'm not medicated. Have thought about being medicated, and I do therapy, but I've never really, I have this weird thing though, where I'm like, I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of like a hippie. I hate medication. Like I don't even like taking Advil. Like, I don't know. And
where I'm like literally put Advil in my veins.
Yeah, like, you're like, please. I don't know what it is. Like, yeah, I'll be like, oh my gosh, like my, whatever. I don't know why.
I took a fistful with my teeth.
Yeah,
100%.
I'm like the opposite. I don't know what it is. And I don't even have any like real rhyme or reason.
No,
I just like,
it's so fair.
Like, so one of the tool of like best case scenario, worst case scenario.
Huge.
And what's realistic has been like a tool that I use in so many situations, and it's actually helpful because it brings me back. It grounds me a little bit.
Because you kind of like, it allows you to be absurd. It allows you to be like the absolute worst case scenario. We're in Idaho, and a bear comes, one bear for each of us, and rips us. Like it allows you to be insane, and then you're like, okay, what's most realistic? And you're like, oh, you know what I mean? Like it allows you to have that moment to be like, this is what I'm really thinking could happen, and then you're like, but that's not realistic. And I think that's a healthy thing of like, I don't think you can just shut it out completely. You have to like allow yourself to like feel it a little bit, but
Yeah. Right.
Or
But
like giving yourself an assigned time of the day, like something that's like been helpful with my mom's diagnosis, because it's like that is a really big like life-changing thing. And so it's like my therapist was like, you need to feel that stuff. And like your mind does need to prepare you for like any outcome possible, because it's way of like protecting you. But she was like, I don't know, pick a time of day. Like maybe it's your morning drive, maybe it's your drive home. And like for that 30 minutes, you let your brain go where it needs to go. And then you say to yourself, like, as soon as I pull into school for work, like I'm done thinking about it for the day, because it's just like, you can't let your brain, like you cannot just let it overtake you.
Yep.
And so, cause then it does impede on your functioning, or like that fight or flight does not turn off. And that really impacts your nervous system.
And that's
so,
where I would say that is where I felt like it was time to get medicated, where I didn't feel like I had the power to compartmentalize anymore. It controlled me.
Yeah.
And so if it really feels like you're sitting here and you're listening to this and you're like, I truly cannot control that. I can't turn it off. I can't. That's when I was like, okay, I can't. I'm waking up anxious. I'm going to bed anxious. I like waking up with an accelerated heart rate is not normal. Like, cool. That's good to know. So that's where I would say, like, if you're really feeling like I cannot do it on my own, then that's time.
I think that's a really good way to put it, for sure.
I think so too. And like, to wrap it up, are there any like things other than that, like the tool we kind of said of like, what do you do when you are anxious? Like, are there other things that you guys do when you're feeling like that you feel like help?
Prayer. Like, I mean, or just reaching out to people for prayer. Like, I think
reading verses for me.
Yeah. Like, really, I do think our faith is like one of our like
biggest tools.
Yeah. Like you said,
the main
Coco,
tool. Yeah.
But like, other than that, I do think like getting outside and going for a walk, like
touching grass.
Seriously, that helps. Because I work remote, and when I had class, like I would be at my desk in my house from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Like there would be multiple days where like I haven't left my house. And so I think like just seriously like getting outside is helpful for me, getting off my phone.
Getting on my phone. I think reading a book. Taking a walk. Yeah,
I will say I'll link the book. The Battles Belong to the Lord for especially
you
for Christians.
should. I need to read that.
It's changed my mind. It's like
cool.
It also just takes it out of my hands, and it puts it into the perspective of like the battle belongs to the Lord, and Satan is using, especially like the closer you get to God, the bigger the target on your back. So it's like Satan is using you as like he wants to get you to feel shame. All the bad thoughts in my head are not of God. And so that's where like that book really helped me to call out Satan in everyday life. Like anytime that I felt like there was something there, I was like, wait, that's a lie. And that is not of God. I got to call this out. That is like my number one thing. That
you do that for us.
No, literally. I'm like, that's fake. That's like fake news. Satan's a liar.
Yeah,
like,
you'll be like, this is a lie.
Like, this is a lie. Lie. Like,
and like in a healthy way. We're not just doing that with like things that are like,
no, it'll be like
have accountability,
but like a legit, like, you know, I'm feeling this way.
I'm feeling anxious. Should I? And I'm like, no, that's actually a lie. Satan's a liar. He's like the king of lies. And like, he's not welcome here. And like, you literally like when I first read that book, I would all the time be like, I rebuke you in the name of the Lord. Like being so dramatic with it, but it just feels so powerful being like, get out. You're not welcome. You're
you're an enemy of the pod.
Enemy of the pod. He's not a pea potter. And yeah.
Awesome.
Good chat. Moving into our pop culture for the day. I think we're talking about what's his name? Bill Belichick. I feel like I cannot lead the pop culture this week because I don't really know as much about it as you guys do. And like, I didn't really know who he was, to be honest.
It's okay. So, no worries. I can give a little background, Coco, unless you want to.
Yeah, you do it. I don't honestly, all I know is that you go. You go.
Okay, so Bill Belichick he was the Patriots, the NFL team, the football coach. So he was the coach when Tom Brady was playing and like they won all the Super Bowls, like iconic NFL coach. He recently retired from the NFL and is now a college coach at, I believe, North Carolina. And with that change, he also introduced a new lady into his life who is literally, I think could somebody Google her age? I think she's,
how old is he?
He's 73.
I think
she's 20. So like they're age.
Wait, you guys said yesterday that it would be like dating our dads. That's like,
My dad is 70.
okay, yeah, but
So
it's
it
a
would
49-year age gap.
Because how old is she? 20?
She's 24
24. So she's younger than us.
and he's 73. So that would be like dating my grandfather.
Yeah, no.
No. Yeah.
I'm never like I don't really care about age gaps, but when you start to
That's
put it in the
that's 2 generations, babe.
well, and
That's
when you start to
insane.
put it in the perspective of like
Yeah.
that's my like your dad or like that's it's younger than my grandpa, but it's by,
in
like,
between your
only 10
grandparents.
years. Yeah.
Like a great uncle age. It's
It
insane.
really
No,
is.
it's getting up there. Yeah,
so
that's
why
crazy.
is this making headlines?
So
this week?
yes, this is making headline, and it's been like a joke. You know, he got roasted at like the NFL honors, whatever, for dating. Whatever.
She's gorgeous. Yeah.
Oh,
she's
of
so
course,
pretty.
of course. But
I'm just kind of scanning
he
the article.
recently wrote a book, and it's about football. Like it's how to win. He's a great coach, all that kind of stuff. So he was doing a CBS interview about his book, and she was there, and they clipped like certain parts where she was like, we're not talking about this. Like the interviewer was like, how did you guys meet? She was like, we're not talking about this. Like shut it down. It was like really
Off
like
camera,
blunt.
like pretty insane. Like if we
Yeah,
were talking
she's
right
in the
now,
back.
it would be like Tyler screaming from the back, being like, we're not talking about that. Like it was,
Right.
and like it's CBS. It's
Did you
one of,
see it? Did
yeah,
you
I
see
saw
it?
the clip, and we can.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like basically like he's asking like, so how'd you two meet? Very like some would say,
And
not
was this-
offensive
Normal.
question.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So then, and everybody went like people were like, okay, so in a relationship like that, you kind of think like, okay, he's probably taking advantage of her. Like he's the older one with the money and like she's younger, that kind of stuff. But then people saw this interview and were like, she's taking advantage of him. Like what is going on? And so it was just like it was really bad. And then also he had a hole in his shirt. That was actually maybe the craziest part. Like he literally, I'm like, you are Bill Belichick, buy a shirt without a hole. If you want to wear that around the house, sir, be my guest.
Is he
love
like-
that for you.
But it's a jammy shirt. Like you don't wear a jammy shirt to the CBS interview.
No, you don't when you're on camera.
I'm
Huge
looking it up on
hole.
here.
Like our friend Good wears shirts with holes, and that's okay. Because
and
we're
he was
camping.
Also like, but Good's also good and he's cutesy and he's
That's
27
his
and
And we're
vibe. But we did get
camping.
approached on our camping trip, and the lady was like, "If you can afford this car, you can afford your shirt."
yeah,
to
she
have
went.
not holes." Do you
Yeah, that
remember
was crazy.
no,
But,
when was that?
Like we were coming up from
In
a
Oregon?
beach.
La
Push. Yeah, La
yes,
Push.
and we were standing by our car, like getting into the car, and
Oh,
this lady was
with
like,
those
"If
dogs.
you guys, yes," she's like, "If you guys can afford this car, then like you can afford some clothes without
He was
holes
like,
in it."
it's not my car.
And he was like, "Also, this is my vibe." So
Yeah,
like,
no.
stop.
But Bill Belichick, like for a CBS interview, like I will just say, like, yeah, he needs to put on a different shirt. Doesn't even have to be a button down. I'm just like
That is a
begging you
bit
to like.
concerning. Like, did he think it was?
So that's why people were like, is he okay? Like, what's going on?
Is he okay? Like mentally? Like I'm serious. I'm like my
No, I
grandma
know.
is his
That's
age
what
and
people are
she
saying.
has dementia.
So that's
I'm
why
like,
that's why people were like, oh, we're concerned for Bill now. Like this is not looking good. So that was kind of like the
Yeah, and then he put out a
conversations.
statement.
He put out a statement.
So this was April 30th after everybody was like tweaking out about it.
Okay.
I agreed to speak with CBS Sunday morning to promote my new book, The Art of Winning: Lessons from My Life in Football. Prior to this interview, I clearly communicated with my publicist at Simon & Schuster that any promotional interviews I participated in would agree to focus solely on the contents of the book. Unfortunately, that expectation was not honored during the interview. I was surprised when unrelated topics were introduced, and I repeatedly expressed to the reporter, well, she did, Tony, and the producers that I preferred to keep the conversation centered on the book. After this occurred several times, Jordon, with whom I share both a personal and professional relationship, stepped in to reiterate that point to help refocus the discussion. She was not deflecting any specific questions or topic, but simply doing her job to ensure the interview stayed on track. Some of the clips make it appear as though we were avoiding the question of how we met, but we have been open about the fact that Jordon and I met on a flight to Palm Beach in 2021. So do the math. 2021 is 4 years ago. So she was 20 when they met.
Yeah.
Disgusting. The final 8-minute segment does not reflect the productive 35-minute conversation we had, which covered the wide range of topics relating to my career. Instead, it presented selectively edited clips from the stills of just a few minutes of the interview to suggest a false narrative that Jordon was attempting to control the conversation, which is simply not true. So Jordon
Do
wrote
you
that.
think?
She's his
Do you
like,
think
she's
it's
his PR manager.
possible?
She wrote that.
so that's the craziest part of this is like from that statement, learning that she is his publicist, like the personal and professional relationship.
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you mean? Like, this is so messy. And again, that's why that's not the smartest decision for you for any celebrity to have their significant other as their publicist, because that actually is the publicist's job. Like if that was a third party person,
that's what I was just gonna say.
nobody
Like,
nobody would have reported on anything.
that is possibly her. Like I'm not like validating the whole thing. I'm just saying like that could be true, that like she was trying to just like redirect the conversation.
I believe that, but then I'm like, seriously, Bill, I need to talk to Bill. Like, you need to hire somebody else and you need to get a shirt without a hole.
Yeah,
okay?
once you're dating her too, I do think
Please.
he should bring in somebody new for the
He
job.
surely has
Like,
enough money to have shirts without a hole. And yes,
And
you need,
another publicist.
and I'm sorry, like, okay, so they met on a plane. I want to know, like, he was like, okay, she's hot. You're going to come work with me and then I'm going to hit you up. Or, you know what I mean?
Literally.
Like, what's the sequence of events?
Well,
what
and
is
who
this
initiated?
plane
Like,
to
did
Palm
she?
Beach?
Like, if people are saying, like, I don't know.
Apparently she has an $8 million real estate portfolio.
Well, so that's where I
Okay.
just am like, I do feel, well, they also they brought up like his relationship with Robert Kraft and like the him
Who
being
is that?
fired. He's the, I think, owner of the Patriots.
Oh, okay.
And so basically when he left the Patriots, they were like on the same discussion that it was a mutual thing, but Robert Kraft has apparently said that he fired him. So like it seemed like a little bit nefarious, like questioning. And so I just feel like, one, your publicist doesn't react that way. A publicist, like the way she said it in the video, she was
Sure.
like, we're not talking about that.
It was pretty aggressive.
Oh,
or
yeah.
like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
And
thought so.
I just think like the press release after the fact is just hilarious to me. She wrote it.
It's
She's his
really
press
kind of
like,
crazy to
he
think
didn't write
about.
that.
Like,
Yeah.
she wasn't even born yet and he was already like 50.
And he was already having probably Super Bowls and prolific and like, you know what I mean? Like that's what's crazy.
Was he ever married? Like, what's his, like,
Oh, let me look.
like,
Yeah, what's his
Has he
story?
notoriously dated young women? Like,
Well,
is,
it makes me, I mean, obviously he is a grown man and like can make his own decisions. But like, I'm like, what? Not even the relationship with her, but just in general, like, sorry, I keep going back to the hole in the shirt. But like, what are you doing? Like you have this like legacy, like you're actually like a legendary
did he
coach.
think
And
it
like,
was like a vibe? Like,
why are
trying to be
you,
young
why
and
are
cool
you
with it? Oops,
like slandering
the whole
your
shit.
good name out here? Like, I don't get it.
Well, so
I'm
what are
sorry.
people? Okay,
He was
yeah.
married to his wife in 1977 and they had 3 children, Amanda, Brian, and Steve, which are all probably older than her. And because if she was born in the 2000s.
I would love to hear the kids' opinions on that. That would be
But
really weird.
he was married to his high school sweetheart for 30 years.
Oh,
And did she pass away, or did they just
No,
divorce?
divorced.
Or okay,
You know, she's getting her bag and she's like,
Yeah, seriously, love that for her. But I guess I'm not exactly sure what Bill is doing right now, and I don't think it's I'm like, hire a real professional. I don't want to discredit her work, but I'm like, maybe let's not cross those personal professional boundaries. And like, no, I
His
did not
net worth-
know that interview was for a book. Like I had no idea
no.
until that statement came out. So I'm like, well,
Oh,
you're obviously not doing your PR job well, because
if you really cared about like his public persona, you wouldn't be there. You would step yourself out if you were truly like, you know what I mean? Like if you were truly
Right.
concerned about his public appearance, you wouldn't even let the conversation be about you. You wouldn't be there. You're asking to be
Yeah.
talked about.
I really don't understand the whole situation. So I'm interested to see how this really shakes out.
well, I was just gonna say, like, what are people saying now? Like, or is it just kind of like this was
Everybody's
weird?
just like, is
this
he okay? Is he okay? And like,
I saw an article that somebody was like, oh, we're good friends, and like, I'm a little concerned for him. Like, I'm gonna need to check in on him. Like,
Yeah,
okay.
good friend. I would
I
say
mean,
that
if she
thing
was
is
his
wild, though. It
publicist,
keeps-
how could you let him go on national TV with that shirt?
that's what I'm saying. She's
Yeah.
literally not doing her job except for interjecting when it's like, how did you guys meet? I'm like, okay, congrats. You did your job on that one part, but he's here with the hole in his shirt. And we don't know that it's about the book. We don't know that the interview's about the book. I will say people were talking about how the news is edited and stuff like that. That's really not up to like their control. So it's like the CBS obviously
be
kind of
some
did them
editing.
dirty too.
Is she even like in it then? Like, or is
Yes,
it just her
no,
voice?
she's in it.
Oh,
Because she started
had a camera
interjecting
on
so much,
her.
they put a camera on her.
oh my god,
Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
So that is
Where there's smoke, there's
little
fire. And also there was, have you guys have seen Remember the Titans?
No.
Josie, you haven't seen the movie Remember the Titans?
It's a really good movie. Actually.
It's a
We'll have to
football
watch
movie.
it.
You would
It's a football movie.
love it with
Okay, it's on
Denzel
my
Washington. It is so good. It's like one of my favorite
We watched
movies.
it in 9th grade.
We did, and
In
we
history
watched
class.
it all the time. There was like a clip of the head coach and like the old head coach that was white.
Yeah.
Because like basically the story is like segregation in the South, and like they hire a black coach in like Alabama, like the South, and it was like a really big whatever. But it was the old white head coach, and his daughter was Hayden Panettiere.
Oh yeah.
And she was like literally an infant in this movie, like a little baby girl, but she was like screaming in the stands, like, come on, like basically being pissed at the refs. And they're like, this is for real, Bill Belichick and Jordan. Like literally.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And probably same age
crazy.
gap. Probably same age gap.
probably.
No, seriously.
Oh,
so
that's so crazy.
So that's the tea on our friend Bill.
He's not, I don't know if he's a friend.
I'm just kidding. Yeah. So seriously, like I'm wishing them both well, but like I'm interested to see what happens. I feel like there's going to be like something crazy that comes out about it, like down the road or something.
Stake in this story. Like I feel really like
if they ever break up, that's when it'll come out. I don't think it'll come out now.
Totally.
Or maybe someone might say something, but Jordan will draft up a press release. Don't you worry.
Well, yeah, for her too. I'm like,
his net worth is $60 million though.
Yes,
that's not that crazy.
No, but like for
I
a
had that.
24-year-old, I don't know. Like,
oh yeah. So I'm like, okay, well,
she'd inherit though, because they're not married. Like they're just dating.
Totally, but like
Yeah, you
she's
never know.
hired by him, so I don't know.
Right.
One would hope if he has a wife or like an ex-wife and then 3 kids that like those will be the people, but like stuff like this gets messy. It's like you're kind of,
especially if there is any sort of like mental
Decline.
cognitive decline at play.
then like
But he's still a coach. He's still coaching.
Yeah, so now poor North Carolina is like hired like one of the greatest coaches in the freaking world, and
He's getting
for their
flagged
college,
for-
and then he's like on CBS with the whole industry.
Well, there's also videos of her like on the field with him, like in like
She could date
trench
his
coat and
players.
heels, like trying to like talk to like the players, and everybody's like she wants to be so important so bad, and then you're like.
Right. I'm like, it's like these like college kids, like, oh my gosh. And
Yeah.
then the organization, that statement was actually put out by North Carolina. Like, so I'm like, they have to deal with this bad PR now too. Like they hire Bill Belichick and he's like going off the rails. I'm sure they're like, good. Great.
Perfect.
That's awesome
Yeah.
for us. So anyway,
Crazy.
that's the,
That would be a good
that's-
Halloween costume, is being Bill Belichick with a hole in her.
seriously.
Coco this fall.
Okay.
I might. That's hilarious.
I can be Jordan.
Yeah.
I'll be the interviewer.
I'll put the trench coat and heels on. Erin, you can be the football player.
Okay.
You can be Tom Brady.
Tyler can be the interviewer.
Yeah. It can be IT.
Yeah, I do. That's hilarious.
I'm dying.
Oh my God. All
Should we
right.
do our praises?
I can start. My praise is obviously being done with grad school this week. Well, done with my classes. So we talked about it at the beginning. I have nothing else to say, but seriously, praise.
My praise is our trip to Florida. It's been like, just the longest. It's been like 6 months of our world revolving around Mayo Clinic cancer things. And so we've been talking about like, when can she travel? When can she travel? And so I'm just like, praise that we have a trip planned and that we all get to like, it's really sweet that like you guys, my praise is like also just for you guys. Cause I'm like, I'm so lucky to have friends that are just like jumping ship to like, come on a trip with my mom. So no, I'm like, it could bring tears to my eyes. Like I'm so thankful, and it's going to be the best little getaway ever. So I'm so excited.
Stop.
Yeah, it is. I'm like tearing up a little bit, but I'm like, it's been, just been something we've been looking forward to. So it's going to be the best.
I love it.
I think like this week I've just had sweet moments of like God showing me that he's in control. So like just prayers or praise that for answered prayers. Yeah. I just feel like there's been sweet moments this week where answered prayers, like through Bible study friends telling us about answered prayers that we've been praying for. And like my mom, like she just had some really exciting stuff that we've been praying about for like work. And
Cool.
Just like you rarely get to see, not rarely, but like God doesn't work on our time. God doesn't work on our time, right? It's his time. And so this week I've just had like praise for answered prayers, because it's not always the case that you get to see it. And so, yeah,
I love that.
That's my praise. Yeah.
Amazing.
Love.
Perfect.
Alrighty. Well, that's a wrap. We'll
That's a
catch
wrap.
y'all next Tuesday.
Bye.
Bye.